good to be back. It was a very long trip and very trying. But I'm so thankful that the Lord brought me back. To see my family one more time. It's funny how you take so many different things for granted.
Yep.
And then
That's for sure.
go 5,000 miles away from the people that you love. Things kind of get put in perspective.
Yeah. Yep.
I need your prayers this morning. I'm still battling this cold or whatever it is.
Satisfy your heart. We'll be good.
I'll just speak a few words and we'll bring her to a close. But you know, I learned while I was going over there that sin is prevalent everywhere. And, you know, sometimes I'll be watching the news or be going over my kids' homework with them or newsletter with them from school and think just how far we've gotten away from God. You know, how every day it seems like we just go further and further away from Him. And how bad our country, the situation is right now. And, you know, you go over to the other side of the world and guess what? It's the same thing over there. It's the same thing. You know, I've heard people say that the flesh is strong. I gotta disagree with that a little bit. I believe the flesh is only as strong as we empower it to be. And you know, flesh is weak when it comes to serving God. That's for sure. But when it comes to sin,
You let it get the upper hand.
we always seem to give in and let it get the best of us. And, you know, even when I was growing up, raised going to church, no matter what time I was out Saturday night, even though I was lost and undone and ran away, as a 17, 18-year-old runaway, I knew that if I died where I was going. I didn't make any bones or any jokes about it. I didn't try to pretend that I had some kind of deal worked out with the Lord. And you know what I'd find is when I'd be out with my friends and we'd be carrying on and partying a little bit, and the Lord would come up. We'd start talking about God. And, you know, I remember so many times some of my friends would tell me, well, I know I'm going to go to heaven. Them sitting there with the beer and a joint in their hand telling me that. And I just look at them and think, listen, if I die right now, I know where I'm going, and I'm going to hell. I wasn't trying to pretend. Listen. And you know, when they'd say those things and I'd look at them like, are you crazy? Look at what we're doing right now. Listen, and you know what? It seems like that as I begin to try to pray and try to serve God, I couldn't tell you any scriptures in this book here. But listen, I just like that preacher he was talking about that couldn't read. There's something more to it.
That's right.
There's something that sets down in the hearts of men and women. Listen, that will compel you. Listen, to serve God. That will just lay it out real plain in front of you what your condition is. Listen, and you know what? When I was a over there, 5,000 miles away from my family. Listen, you know what I found, Brandon? When we'd go out, we'd go out, listen, after work there and go out to eat. I just pray my voice will hold. Listen, we'd go out and they'd get to drinking and carrying on. Listen, and I'd take my little glass there for the shots that they had on the dining room table, and I'd flip it over upside down. And they'd look at me like I was some kind of weirdo. Listen, and you know what? I guess I am. But you know, one day it was a Sunday morning, and I was sitting around the hotel room chatting. Listen, and I started thinking about yous and how much I wanted to be sitting here with yous. And I got down and went for a little walk that morning, and I heard a little church bell ringing in the town square there. So I figured I'd go up and see what was going on. And I went to this grand church built, no doubt, 500 or 600 years ago. Listen, and I went in and sat in the back there. People, and you know what? I don't speak Polish. I don't speak a word. And you know what? Wasn't too many people in there. But the minister, or whatever you call him, he got up and started reading from the Bible. Listen, and there was something come over me, and I wanted to raise my hands and shout. I couldn't tell you what he was saying, but there's more to the Spirit than just reading words. Listen, and you know what?
That's right. It's a sincere heart.
When they got down, listen, and that man, he started leading them in a little prayer there, and a few heads were bound. Listen, I just got down on my knees in the back there and started praying with them. I don't know why, but I started holding prayer right there in the back. Listen, just like we do here. Listen to me. And when I got done, listen, and stood up, I realized that man wasn't praying anymore. And so I got up and looked, and every head was turned around looking at me. And after that little service, listen, and the people began to stand and leave. There was a man who come back there, and he looked at me, and you know what? You know how we do. We often put our hands over our ears when we holler out there. I come back and said something to me, and I just looked at him and said, I'm sorry, I don't understand. And he looked at me and he put his hands over his ears. The Spirit of God, it surpasses all languages. It surpasses the written word, the Spirit of God. When it sits down into the hearts of men and women, it begins to flow. It's not bound by language. It's not bound by the written word. Just like when you started preaching about that preacher who couldn't read. I thought often about that, how, why would the Lord call a man like that? And I've heard you tell about singers that would hold songbooks upside down that couldn't read. It's because that's not what's important.
That's right. It's in the heart.
And you know, every night I talk to my wife and kids over there. It was nighttime for me, early for them. And you know, we'd get on the laptop there and Skype with each other. About the second time we did it, I told Brandy, I think it's just harder when we do that.
Yeah.
When I see him.
Yeah. You go sleep.
Because it seemed like every time I'd close my computer there, and my hotel room wasn't no bigger than enough just to fit a bed in. I'd close my laptop and I'd start to cry a little bit. And just ask the Lord, Lord, you know I can't be there with them.
That's right. That's right.
Lord, I
Reach
can't rock them to sleep.
Reach out to him. Yeah.
And you know, every night we've got our little routine at home where
Same thing I was thinking about him.
we go upstairs at night when it's bedtime and we kiss the girls and we get down on our knees and we have our little prayers with them. And you know, we'd try to do that over the laptop there. We'd pray together. Listen, and you know what? My prayers didn't stop when we said amen
right.
there.
That's right.
Because even though Daddy wasn't there, listen, hug him. I know, man. Listen, listen, no matter what your situation is, no matter how far away you are from loved ones, listen, he's not but a breath of prayer away. Listen, and I know I've learned from experience many things, but the one probably most important thing that I've ever learned is that Jeremy can't do anything on his own, but when troubles come, listen, I can call out and lay it down in his hands and say, Lord, one more time, things have gotten out of my control. One more time, God, I need you to go where I can't. I need you, listen, to keep your hand on my children.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? It seemed like sleep would come a little bit easier.
Put it in his hands. That's the best thing we can do.
Is go ahead and get you the song ready. But you know, we get awful concerned about foolish things in this world. We get awful concerned, and I'm not saying that trying to have a good job and a good home is a foolish thing.
No.
But what I'm telling you is that it's secondary.
Yeah.
It's secondary to seeking my Lord. Go ahead, Chad, and sing whatever you want.
Church doors are raining.
But you know, when I was in that church and they had them all over and they were grand spectacles to see. Beautiful, beautiful churches. And you know what I found when I went in, and I went in a few of them, was that they probably could house thousands of people.
Yeah.
And there weren't but a few.
Yeah. Very sad.
And you know, it's a very, very humbling thing.
Lost of spirit.
But I want to say this morning, I don't know what your situation may be, but I do know that 2,000 years ago, when the Lord was marched up a hill and nailed to a cross, He opened up the church doors, and they've stood open for these past 2,000 years. Listen, He said, behold, I stand at the door and knock.
Yeah.
But you know what? You need to answer, because He's not going to break the door down.
That's right. That's right. Meekness, humbleness.
I hear the roar